Apple has announced its own game subscription service, Apple Arcade, as a pay-for-access library of premium mobile games. During a live stream event today, Apple detailed what the subscription service has to offer and shared a look some of the developers is already working with to get the platform off the ground. The service is still in more than 150 countries and regions, but Apple has yet to announce anything on pricing quite yet. Apple Arcade is rolling out as a tab in the App Store that will give subscribers access to their library right from that already installed app. From there, players can download any of the service's offerings, which will include 100 new and service-exclusive games, to their devices. Anything downloaded is playable offline as well, and Apple said the titles featured on the service will not offer any sort of ads or microtransactions either, and as an added bonus, all games on the service will be playable and share progression across iPhone, iPad, Mac, and Apple TV, doubling down on the data privacy theme of the entire presentation. Apple also notes that these apps cannot collect any data about you or track any information about how you play their games without players' consent. Privacy is one of several features Apple is leading with for this new service, alongside ideas of use, expert curation, personalization, and family sharing features. A handful of developers are already working with Apple to bring their games to the service, including the likes of Konami, Platinum Games, Sega, ANAPURNA Interactive, Gamasutra, Devolver Digital, and several others. All in all, Apple says that the App Store sees 500 million weekly visitors, and the most popular category on the storefront is games. The App Store alone hosts 300,000. So while, according to Apple, that makes those the largest gaming platform in the world, it can be difficult for premium games to get the same attention as their free-to-play counterparts. In Apple's eyes, this makes joining up with the streaming service a potential way for developers to get the attention of those players. Video Game Deep sees a weekly newsletter from video game industry watcher Simon Carlos, DD, Gamasutra Code Runner, rounding up the best long-read standout articles videos about games every weekend. This week's highlights include a look at Moss's new commissions in the video game space, the crunch-free development of Slime Rancher, and a very off-kilter procedurally generated dating game, among other things. As always, there's lots of good material here. From podcasts through videos to articles, please take the time to read, enjoy, and even tweet at the creators if you liked it. You'd be surprised how little people get complimented on the internet, or maybe you would not. Until next time, Simon, curator. NASA turns to games for a new generation of space art. Podium. How we get to next article. NASA spent much of the 20th century commissioning painters and illustrators to imagine the future of space exploration. When Jeff Norris, the head of Mission Operations Innovation at NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab, JPL, wanted a way to inspire a new generation of potential engineers, scientists, and astronauts, he turned to a modern alternative to those artists, a games developer. Steam 2018 Year in Review, the Steam Community article. You may not remember this, or maybe you do. But the first couple of years for Steam were pretty rocky. We did not have much beyond the rudimentary client, a way for users to buy games, and service to deliver those bits. Most of the time, fast forward to 2018 and the challenges we faced this year alone were far beyond what we imagined back when we first launched the store. Simon, just note, Valve being a lot more open than previously is good. What happened to the Queen's Golden Way? People make games YouTube video. About a decade ago, the Queen was sent a golden console as part of a PR stunt for a Forgotten Way game called Big Family Games. But she never actually received it. Why not? Where is it now? We've decided to try and find it for ourselves. How? Slime Rancher made a ton of money and stuck to 0-hour work weeks. Patrick Klipik, Waypoint article. As part of reporting this story, I spoke with several employees who do added work under Popovich. Everyone was given an opportunity to speak off the record about their experiences, but all vouched for his claims about what it's been like to make Slime Rancher, describing a studio where crunch was exceedingly rare, and people are told to go home. Bad cooking, procedural romance in a digital world. Emily Dar Eurogamer article. And when you are making a procedural generation-laden game about love, compatibility, dating, and rejection, it's important to break down your thoughts on this sort of thing ahead of time. For the past several months, Tanya X. Short and her team at indie studio Kid Fox Games have been developing Batcooled, a digital betting game that turns procedurally generated dates into a game of prediction, games and crowdfunding in 2000, and dating. Gamasutra co-partners article. Following the trends from the last few years, most of the game's category numbers are driven by the tabletop games projects, with video games representing about 1/10 each of the money raised by them. Playing cards are still very popular, with more than 500 projects funded. Simon, just note, infinite graphs, but great detail on a revenue growth stalled, but still useful for communities. Digital game crowdfunding thing. The Grand Tour game is a bad game, but an interesting vision for INTERACTIVETV. Only watch Eurogamer article. Just a few weeks after Netflix released the Black Mirror episode, Bender's Not Charlie broke a slick, game-literal hybrid of high-end drama and Choose Your Own Adventure. Its great rival in streaming video, Amazon, is here with a very different vision of the intersection of video games on television. It's the Grand Tour game, an episodic, casual racing game spun-off from the expensive antics of three elderly boys. Your game studio does not have to survive to succeed. Tanya's Adventure Beat article. By this point, hopefully we have all laughed and moved past the idea that just to make a good game is good business advice. However, it's a little discussed truth that there are smart, savvy indies that do indeed follow this advice, and indeed knowingly risk the closure of their studios. And even if those studios close, both leaders and employees can potentially come out the better for it. Why friendly I cheat in Ghost Recon Wildlands via one name's YouTube video. Sometimes, if you want to make your game work as intended, you need to cheat a little bit. In this video, I examine one of the best cheating systems in recent years, the Companion 9 of 2017, as Ghost Recon Wildlands, Life of the Grid, Part 1, Making Ultima Underworld. Jimmy Moore, the Atlanticarian article. 3D graphics were, one might say, baked right into Looking Glass's DNA. Paul North and Ned Lerner, its two Aventure founders, met one another in 1978 in a computer science course at Wesleyan University, where North was studying environmental science, Lerner physics. For the course's final project, they teamed up to make a 3D space game rendered in ASCII text. The real-world battle over dancing avatars did put Nights to the floss. Elizabeth Harris New York Times article. In 1973, the performer Hugo Lucchini sold screen-shared broadcasting after one of his news programs aired his entire act on television, an act in which he shot himself out of a cannon at an Ohio County fair and landed in a net 200 feet away. Today, a new set of cases is merging the legal boundaries of who control certain performances. Simon, just note, yes, there's been a lot of articles on this, but this one goes a lot deeper. Legally, thoughts on Detroit being human. Thomas Grip, Frictional Games blog article. Quantic Dream learns with each game.